Hello, I'm Bob Becker, race director with UltraSports LLC. This video covers the basics of how to crew a runner in an ultramarathon, in particular a road race or a trail race where frequent access to the runner from a support vehicle is possible. Best practices for both runner and crew members are included. You'll hear from the experts, nearly all of whom are runners who have been supported by a crew and have themselves crewed for others.
What I look for when trying to build up a great team, a great crew, and have a great crew chief is truly somebody that has my best interest at heart, that has my goal at the forefront, that doesn't have any ulterior motives, that they want to cover 20 miles or 30 miles, that if you're going to crew for me for the 50 or for the 100 mile, that you are truly there to support my dream and my goal. It's really best if you can pick somebody that knows you really well, that has, empathy for you, that's actually strong, who will help hold you accountable to what it is that you've set out to do.
So I think it's best to talk with each member individually ahead of time. That way, when you do get together or have a Zoom call or an in-person meeting, everybody already kind of knows what they're being asked to do. The runner kind of sets forth expectations, a best case scenario, worst case scenario, the most likely scenario, and then work together with your crew and let them know, what are all the different components and what it is that you're going to be facing. And then also, let them know what tasks you would like them to handle. For my last race at Daytona 100, I had 3 crew members, and I think 3 is a great number.
I think a minivan is ideal. When you can drop that third row seats, you have so much room to pack what you need in there. So if I was renting something, my first choice would always be minivan. My second choice would be some sort of SUV that could mimic the back of a minivan, but still have some back seats. On the right-hand side, I usually put some drawers with the stuff that we need to get to, very quickly and often. Right in back of that, if it's a hot race, like the keys, I might have a second cooler with just, some extra ice, some soda, some food. And then, you've seen us crew, you do similar things. We'll bring a bucket, like a 5-gallon bucket for when we go out to the runner. We'll stack that on top of the back cooler. And then we'll put our extra waters back there. And then for, Lisa's extra clothes and shoes or things that you might get scattered around the car, plastic tubs. We don't want anything kind of getting thrown all over the car. Everything gets packed up. Plastic tubs, nice and organized. Pretty much the first thing I'll look for. Usually get them for $10, and it makes your life so much easier because you can divide up the things that you need to access often. You don't need to dig for them. You can just grab them. You know where they are. The night before the race, usually we'll have a little extra time. We'll put painter's tape on it. We'll write what's in the drawer. So when, our partners are getting tired and they don't know where, Lisa's supplements are, they can just look, pull it out. Okay, top drawer. Okay, Pedialyte, second drawer. Great. Extra garbage bags, third drawer. And it just makes it a lot easier than, having to dig through the vehicle. You kind of want everything, right in front of you so you don't have to go crazy every time you stop. Organization really makes things easier over the duration of the race.
I think the best practice is to let your crew know to stop as frequently as possible and kind of set that up. Maybe that's 2 miles or 3 miles in the Keys. There's designated stopping points. So, you would kind of study the course map, study the designated stopping and crewing areas. And I think try to utilize as many of those as possible. Ideally, what you want to have is your crew crossing the street safely, of course, obeying all traffic laws and all that, and being very extra careful with that. But you want to have your crew take care of that. We'd have a bucket ready with a bunch of items inside the bucket, things that we already kind of predetermined would be needed, but also you have a few extras just in case. So that way, things happen and runners might need to adjust at some point.
Like get to know the athletes, ask them questions ahead of time, like if there's any special things that they need, but they're pretty much going to know what they want because they've already trained with all the training that they had to do ahead of time. Also, intuition comes into play and being empathetic because, sometimes people don't realize that they're dehydrated and they need to have electrolytes. And so that comes also with Jay telling me that instead of writing down what everybody expects at any given moment, just write down what nutrition they had so that at the next stop, if they didn't have like protein or electrolytes or gels, that you make sure to give them to them the next stop.
In the beginning, I usually take notes, if it's like every half hour or every hour, or depending on the type of race, like if there's a certain stop, and I'll track, what they eat, how many calories it is, get an estimate of the mileage and time. And I always ask too, like, did you eat something? Did you go to the bathroom? I always ask just to know. And, if someone hasn't gone to the bathroom for 6 hours, then, you definitely want to pay close attention to that with maybe the hydration.
So as crew, your job is to keep your runner fed and watered and moving. But it is also extremely important that you take care of yourself.
No one's looking after you. So like you have to make sure you yourself are taken care of, like that you're eating, you're drinking, you're going to the bathroom. Because it's easy to kind of put your own needs aside because you're so focused on helping a runner. I think it was like around like 4 o'clock in the day. I was like, look, if you can somehow take a nap for even an hour or half an hour right now, like you can somehow just get that little bit of sleep, you should take it. But just that little bit of extra rest can go a long way throughout the night.
Just pay attention to your runners and their needs. They're already going to most likely know what they want. Being there as their cheerleader and also making sure that they are getting in, the things they need to get them to the finish line. Just make sure you take care of yourself, that you are resting because you are taking care of people, and it's a very big responsibility, but it is actually more fun when you're in it. So it's going to be great no matter what.